All right. Morning Ramblins. Skeeter beater. Apparently, folks ain't never learned how to take some weeds out the garden, just some time and make a smudge pot. They'd rather go and destroy the entire food chain, kill off everything, murder millions and millions and millions and millions of people, let alone all the animals in the world, because they don't like skeeters. You know, when I was a kid, me and my dad, we used to go fishing a lot. My dad used to tell me, as much as you hate getting bit by them mosquitoes, I want you to remember, without them, you wouldn't be catching no trout. Without them mosquitoes, there wouldn't be so many of the dragonflies floating around. And cool little creepy crawlies, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have as many of the pretty birds that tend to actually eat the mosquitoes, like swallows. You get a bunch of swallows and you wonder why, they're dipping around, ducking around, doing all those cool little darting patterns through the sky and shit. Well, that would be because they are catching bugs. And if it ain't mosquitoes, it's flies. But most of the time it's mosquitoes because it's about what the size of what they could eat, you know what I'm saying? So, I just want to know who the fuck decided we're going to destroy all those fucking mosquitoes in the world. Because that person needs to be dragged behind a large vehicle for several miles until they have been flayed alive. Rather than deleting the entire food chain, they need to become part of it. I'm sorry, does that insult your sensibilities? Well, too fucking bad. Because I don't know if you noticed this, but here, let me set this down for a second. I need two hands. There's a reason why there are so many bugs that are inside and outside and everywhere. And I want to point some of that out to you. Look, there's a way you can handle it so you don't have to worry about getting bit all the shit. Fucking retards. Just because you don't like skeeters or you're allergic to skeeters, guess what? So is I. And I'm allergic to fucking dust, which, funny enough, I just smacked a moth and it turned it into dust, which I'll probably be sneezing from later. Anyways. Never mind. Fuck, later it'll be now. Anyways, like I said, I don't want to fucking eradicate all the moths. Just the ones that are inside of my house. I don't want to eradicate all the mosquitoes. Just the ones that are inside my house. Just the ones that are biting me while I'm out sitting there having a cigarette. That's it. I don't know why people have this concept of, well, we need to kill everything everywhere. You fucking retards. It doesn't matter. Really? Use a little bit of repellent, you fuck rock. I mean, seriously. And yes, you are a fuck rock. You know what that means? It means that you are so fucking destitute that you will be a 60-year-old virgin humping a boulder. Yes, I said it. And I meant it. You are a fuck rock. You are the boulder getting humped by the 60-year-old virgin. That is your only worth. Because sometimes, I guess, it takes an army to explain to you how retarded you are. Oh, I'm going to get rid of all the mosquitoes in the world. Huh. Well, I got one better for you. How's about we get rid of all of the Gates and the Bezoses and the you know what I'm saying? We get rid of all them motherfuckers. With one simple thing. If you make above a certain amount of money on a company of any kind above a certain class, you no longer get to make political decisions. You no longer get to vote. You no longer get to go out there and throw your weight around with money in the United States. The only thing you can legally do with your money is purchase shit. That's it. You don't get to go around and say, okay, well, I don't like how your company's run, so I'm going to buy it and I'm going to throw it under the fucking bus. You don't get to go out there and be like, okay, well, I don't like how this thing is about nature, so I'm going to develop something in order to delete it. You don't get that power. And if you do something like such, well, then you have one option. You lose your company. Honestly, I think that might actually fix some of the stupid that's going on. Like the Gates Foundation, the Clinton Foundation. I could go on for days with how many times they've misused the word foundation. Hell, I could go on for weeks that ways. For some reason, folks tend to think that just because somebody's got a lot of money, it's okay for them to get away with certain stupid shit. I'm sorry, but being that I'm a country boy and I lived in the country since I was a youngster, and even when I was living in LA, that was just where the house was. I was doing everything in my power to get the fuck away from there. I don't like cities, if you haven't noticed. I mean, hell, I'm up here to fucking be around my sister and my mama and all the others and whatnot, and be nearby to a location where push come to shove, if the country was ever invaded, things would be taken care of, because that's my duty. Yeah. Anyways. So, me parking my happy ass up here, I'm sitting here thinking, well, at least I'll be able to go trout fishing and I'll be able to go hunting and enjoy the fucking woods, because that is my church. That is where I find God. And apparently, some dick sneeze didn't get the memo, and they want to destroy my church. So I tell you what, Mr. Gates, you motherfucker. If you ever feeling froggy enough, Why don't you try swinging that fucking goddamn that pencil dick around here? Allow me to show you what we think of your anti-wildlife fucking goddamn bullshit. I'll bet you $100 if you fucking drove your ass through this fucking town, at least 19 people here would skin you alive. That's not including yours truly. So we'll say 20 people here would skin you the fuck alive. Just to let you walk out inside that swamp, skint alive so you can get ate by them fucking mosquitoes you want to try and murder. Because yeah, let's be clear. I think mosquitoes are necessary. Do I enjoy the fact that they bite me? Fuck no. Nobody does. Duh! Of course, it's not fucking rocket science. You don't like getting bit. Duh! Hey, jackass! That does not fucking mean that critters don't need to eat. You wanted all of us to fucking eat mosquito burgers. Guess what, jackass? That's what the fucking trout eat. You have gone so fucking psychotically sideways that nobody is listening to your ass anymore because you might as well be fucking sitting there trying to goddamn fucking bring the fucking sun to the earth. Rather than making a fucking fusion center. What do you know? Somewheres you can actually create fusion here on Earth and, take the power from. No, you want to just bring the fucking star here, you dumb fuck. It's kind of like, well, we don't like malaria, so I'm going to wipe out all the fucking mosquitoes. Jackass. The mosquitoes ain't the malaria. It's a little tiny protozoan. It's smaller than the fucking mosquito's turd. Use that thing that God gave you. Oh, wait a minute. God didn't give you that shit. You stole it from babies. You won't sit there and say to me, well, I built my own company. No, motherfucker, you bought your company. Let's be clear. You bought your company for about $1,100 and a bag of Cheetos. Imagine how I might know this shit. You made your the feller who made the company lived in a fucking garage. You decided to partner with his ass. You made a couple of fucking investments and then turned around and stole it from him. Don't try and fucking deny that shit. I was alive when you did it. So was my mama. So was my daddy. Funny enough, so was my little sister, and she don't remember it. I do. I remember watching what fucking happened to all that shit. I remember seeing how you are all of a sudden the only fucking name in printers and software, and everybody's touting Bill Gates is the greatest and shit. And that's back when you were starting your investments in AIDS research. And I was in there going, wait a minute. I smell a dead rat in the woodshed. What the fuck, over? That's when I lost my temper. And y'all motherfuckers want to sit there and says to me, well, let's go ahead and kill all them skeeters. Kill all the skeeters in the world. Motherfucker, you think that Mother Nature will not compensate for your stupidity by wiping out all of animal life on Earth? Are you so retarded that you do not understand biology? Oh wait, I forgot who I'm talking about or talking to here. It's Bill Gates. The motherfucker doesn't understand biology. My apologies. So a simple lesson in biology. Let's talk about food chains. Simple biological standard for life. The food chain. How does the food chain work? Well, it starts off with things like zooplankton. Plankton and zooplankton. And shrimps, anchovies in the ocean. Now, these things eat the zooplankton, they eat the plankton. And, nutrients become passed around the ocean said ways. Well, on land, the food chain is quite similar. Plants create certain juices. Skeeters eat those juices from the plants, which in turn allows them skeeters to be able to thrive. They bite animals, which gives them the protein they need to reproduce, and they make babies. Those babies, in turn, feed other insects, feed fish, feed plants with their carcasses or their shed skins or what have you. They eat detritus and poop out, nutrient-rich, vitamin-rich sources for the wildlife, the plant life in the area, which in turn gets broken down and turned back into the plant juices that the mosquitoes eat. Okay? These mosquitoes and their larvae end up getting ate by other bugs and fish. And those bugs and fish end up getting eaten by bugs and fish and fish. And those fish and bugs and fish and whatnot, you end up getting ate by bugs and fish and fish. And wild things like bears and ferrets and mink and all that fun stuff. And you and me. And when they die, when our bodies die, they break down and become the soul that those mosquitoes eat and shit out and turn into organic fertilizer for them plants to then grow on and start the whole cycle anew. This is why it's called a food chain. Because each one is a link in the chain going up the steps. And that chain turns around and links to itself, making a big ass circle. So, why then would we want to delete the most important fucking link in the chain, the first one? Well, I'll ask you this much, and I'll point out to you, Mr. I am doing it to protect the people. Fucking liar. I just broke it down to you how you're not protecting people. In fact, you're destroying everything for people because you're making it so that people can't eat. See, you want to control the food because if you control the food, you control how people might be able to respond. You control the ability of people to provide for themselves because you've literally deleted the entire fucking wild food chain. If you delete the wild food chain, the only thing that's left is the domestic one. What happens when there's only the domestic food chain left? The wild food chain starts preying on the domestic food chain. That's not population control. That's murder. By proxy. Now I heard some fancy shit where like Gates is dead and Clinton's dead, Hillary Clinton's dead, and Epstein's alive. Yeah, well, we all know that one, but anyways, like most of these weird ass politicians that everybody was calling fucking lizard people, they're all dead or something. I was hearing some weird theory about that, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe, but probably not. Yes, body doubles exist, but they're not that fucking convincing. Not with basically what amounts to 1020, HD fucking video where you could see every little fucking nook and cranny on my face. I understand why people was used to calling me pizza face when I was a kid. Well, if you can see that kind of detail in a video, then I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. I mean, I only ever had one individual try to sell me oceanfront property in Arizona and almost bought it. And that was when I was a toddler. I didn't fucking know where Arizona was at the time. I mean, I did, but I didn't because my brain was still being molded and created and mushed together and made all wrinkly and whatnot. And, there was one of the folds that hadn't been put into my brain yet. So, when I says I didn't know where Arizona fucking was at the time, I want to point out to you, I didn't know where Arizona was at the time. Hell, I didn't know where my asshole was in relation to my elbow. But that doesn't mean nothing, never mind, because I was a child. Okay? My point, it remains the same here. Even as the child who did not know where fucking Arizona was at the time, I knew mosquitoes were necessary, even if I'd had to slap at them all the fucking time because I didn't like mosquitoes and I don't like getting bit because I'm allergic to the bites. I have an allergic reaction to the urushiol oil in grass, which is why I am allergic to mosquito bites. They suck up the juices from the plants that's in their saliva. When they bite you, that saliva goes into your skin. And you have an allergic reaction. Most people are allergic to urushiol oil. Most people don't realize that is in fucking grass. That's why it burns and stings when you fucking sit there and you roll around in the grass and you don't wash it off and you sweat on it. In case you were wondering. Yes, that's from the same shit that poison ivy causes those irritating rashes from. Same shit. I just tend to have a more violent reaction to grass than most people. Doctor used to think it was urticaria. Turns out, no, that's a fucking skin allergy that I share with a couple dozen people I've met. Turns out, yeah, if you're allergic to poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, you're probably allergic to grass. If you're not allergic to poison oak, poison ivy, or poison sumac, you might still be allergic to grass. And if you're allergic to poison ivy, poison oak, or poison sumac, you might not be allergic to grass. It's just generally how your body responds to that brand of urushiol oil. Yeah. Really, honest to God truth. Like, I have an allergic reaction to tamarisk, also known as salt cedar. It's another place where you find urushiol oil. But I don't have an adverse reaction to sumac. I do to poison oak, but I don't to sumac. I have an adverse reaction to grass and to poison ivy. Hell, poison ivy, I'm fucked. Even English ivy, which isn't that bad for that, honestly. It's really not that bad. In fact, it's like if you took English ivy and poison ivy and put them next to each other, you could fuck around with the poison ivy all day. I mean, sorry, not the poison ivy, the English ivy all day and not feel anything from it. The moment you fuck with the poison ivy, you light on fire. Well, for me, it's not just opposite, it's a both situation, but in the adverse all the way. I fuck with English ivy and my ass ends up fucking lit on fire. So all this to say is, just so you know, Bill Gates, if he's destroying the Skeeters, instead of trying to figure out how to make it so that urushiol oil isn't toxic to the human biome, then he has no fucking interest whatsoever in people's health. I mean, we knew this, but I'm just pointing out at you. Don't buy it. Don't buy none of the bullshit. I mean, I know that's kind of goes without having been said or having to be said, but still, apparently it bears fucking repeating. Bill Gates and his entire foundation need to be arrested. They need to be stopped, which arrest means to place holds and bars upon. To stop. 1. To halt. To hold. That's what arrest means. For those of you who are illiterate in English. Because apparently it does fucking bear repeating. Because everybody thinks, oh, well, arrest means that you go to jail. No, it means you've been stopped, accosted, held against your will, held against your impetus. Yeah, ever wonder where I get the word impetuous from? It's the Webster's Dictionary. Some people need to have a fucking actual formal education because they've lived so damn long in this lie of, well, everything that I hear out there must be real, because why otherwise would people says it in order to lead you astray, but I digress. I want points out at you. Mosquitoes are necessary. They're not fun. They're not something I want to fucking cuddle. Alright? It's not like it's a bunny rabbit. Even though bunny rabbits are devious little assholes in their own right. No, but they're fucking necessary. You need mosquitoes to feed fish. You need the fish to feed the bears, which then in turn shit in the woods. And the shit that's up in that woods feeds the trees, which actually allows you to fucking breathe. Everything is connected. And the moment that you try to break one of those connections, you try to separate that link out of the chain, guess what ends up happening, jackass? That chain swings on its own. Instead of being that complete circle. See, life is a circle. The quicker you get with that program, the longer you'll survive. Life is a circle. This is what I mean by the manner and rule of self-perpetuating self. Life for life's own reasons. Existence for existence' sake. You see, Bill Gates, that poor bastard, is going to end up having to live that same fucking life over and 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 over again. Because unfortunately, he didn't learn shit. He just went and used whatever the fuck he learned in a previous life somewheres to make a lot of money. He never actually learned the lessons that you need to learn in order to progress. So he will be perpetuating his own fucking bullshittery and his own fucking hatred and his own destruction of our wonderful planet in every iteration of his life. Until he figures out, I can't save anything because all I can do is destroy. And as soon as you figure that fucking shit out, you start to actually work towards better. Because, hey, if all I can do is destroy, and all I can do is, have that patience necessary to understand why things are this way, rather than I'm just going to destroy it because I don't like it. A mosquito bit me, so now I need to get rid of all the mosquitoes in the world. Oh, well, mosquitoes transmit all these diseases. So I need to go and kill all the mosquitoes so they can't transmit the diseases, let alone the fucking fact. I mean, fuck's sake, people. Little common sense is all I ask for. Apparently, whatever the fuck they are smoking, it is not pot. Because if it was weed, well, we all know that they'd be a little bit more on the level of live and let live. Rather than live and murder everything. See, I'm a hunter. I'm a fisherman. I recognize the necessity of mosquitoes, of flies, of wasps, of bees, of maggots, of worms in the dirt. I understand why all of this is necessary. Not just existent. Necessary. It's all part of a functioning cycle. Now, I don't know why this is so difficult for Mr. Gates to conceptualize. Hey, Bill, I don't know why this is so hard for you to get. You understand cycles. I mean, how many cycles was it on the old Microsoft before you had to defrag the system? So you understand cycles. And if you understand cycles, this shit should not be a fucking rocket science project for your ass. This should not be a science fair project for your ass. It should simply be something just to observe. Again, I don't know why this is such a hard concept to get. I do understand why the fuck he's doing it, because in a nutshell, it's proof that he doesn't give a flying fuck about the health of other individuals. He doesn't care about a goddamn thing when it comes down to the health of society and all that BS that he spreads. Oh, well, the vaccines are because we're trying to save people. Bullshit. And it's shit like this that proves it. You and your crap with the mosquitoes in fucking California and the mosquitoes in Florida and the mosquitoes down in fucking Louisiana and the mosquitoes in Texas and the fucking screwworm flies in fucking Texas and soldier flies in fucking Texas. I could go on for fucking decades. The spread of the Lyme tick to the fucking West Coast. It was originally on the East Coast in the New England states. The spread of the Lone Star tick into the northern side of the country. When they're still cold, capable of knocking them down and killing them, making them so that they can't get around. And they want to sit there and blame global warming, but I'm sorry, but I don't know if you noticed today. It is June 29th, and it is fucking 60 degrees outside and raining. Where's that global warming, Hoss? Where in the fuck is that global warming? I'd like to know. Because I don't know if you noticed it. Shall we look? You see out there? It's not as easy to see over there. Let's go ahead and look at the floor here. Oh, look at that. It's wet. There's rain on the ground. The fuck you know. Where's your global warming there, jackass? Do tell. I would love to hear it. Oh, we killed so much emissions last year. Horseshit. All the emissions that you killed last year were outweighed by the eruptions of the volcanoes. 100-fold. So, I'm sorry, but what were you lying again? It's for the same horseshit that I have a problem with anybody who says, oh, well, I don't mind if the mosquitoes are gone. You will mind as soon as your plate is empty. You will mind as soon as you can no longer feed your babies who are sitting there screaming at you for food. You'd be surprised at how much a mosquito adds to the world. You'd be surprised at how much a mosquito actually gives back to this entire ecosystem around us. It might make you sick to your stomach to find out how much mosquitoes do for people. Because if we're the apex predators on this planet, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. If we're the apex predators on this planet, and they're the bottom of the fucking food chain, you know, as far as above the water is concerned, you know, above ocean level, above sea level is concerned. If they're like the zooplankton in the terrestrial food cycle, then I have to wonder, and I have to ask you, why, dear God, would you want to get rid of that? Why would you want to delete something so fundamentally vital to the entire fucking food cycle? All right, when we're talking, human beings are the top tier, the apex predators, right? We have never been able to remove ourselves from the natural food cycle. It just doesn't work like that. We don't have that capability. Nobody can. No matter how much you try, you still have to eat. You still have to shit. You still have to breathe. All of these things are part and parcel controlled by the food cycle. If we're going to do what Mr. fucking Retrobait says that we should, well, y'all better start breathing a lot thinner. Just pointing that out at you. Because oxygen, funny enough, comes from plants that need mosquitoes to traumatize them ever so slightly, which mosquitoes do the best at, in order to cause them to produce in profusion. It's one of those triggers of the summer that makes it so that plants start producing more oxygen. People wouldn't know this unless you'd studied it. Mosquitoes are necessary for all aspects of the entire food web. But you'd never know it until they're all gone. And it gets hard to breathe in the middle of winter. And you can't exactly find a salmon nowheres. Bean production goes down. Sweet peas are hard to find in the stores. Soybeans and rice suddenly disappear. Don't know if you knew this, but the main pollinator of rice are a very specific type of mosquito. Just so happens it's also the same mosquito which bites us the most. And translates the, translates the West Nile virus. Same mosquito. Don't know if you knew this, but that's why those mosquitoes are here in the United States in profusion. We grow rice. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Ever wonder why, rice paddies are fucking buzzing with damn mosquitoes? And you hardly ever see the people getting bit all that much? A very specific kind of pollen. Very specific kind of pollinator. Mosquitoes pollinate grasses. Few other critters out there pollinate the grass. Wind doesn't do as much pollination of grass as a mosquito. Wind just knocks the pollen down right next to the grass stalk, which isn't really helpful all that much to grass. The pollen really has a hard time going far. And mind you, I'm allergic as fuck to grass pollen. Like really allergic to grass pollen. And yet I'm still here, able to talk, able to pretty much breathe. Pretty much. And the grass around here is in heavy pollen, heavy bloom. Yet, I'm not dealing with tons of mosquitoes. Why might that be? Oh, because there is a such thing as mosquito repellent. The thing that actually works. Rather than, I'm going to introduce 100 fucking million mosquitoes to a place, and all these mosquitoes can't actually reproduce because we genetically fucked with them by making them go and carry a certain disease, which already does this in the fucking wild. All right? But that disease also causes severe problems in human beings. It's just that it used to be, we didn't see it as much because it was a wild version versus what we have now. And yes, there's actual manufactured diseases out there, if you didn't know that. That can be done. I don't approve of it. I fucking hate it, but it's true, it can be done. All this to say that the people who are doing this shit Your protests are not going to stop them. Your votes are not going to stop them. Your laws are not going to stop them. They're just going to do shit. With or without your fucking permission. Only you can stop them with physical force. Sorry if that butt hurts some people. Sorry if that's going to end up getting me super shadow banned. I'm already going to get super shadow banned because I mentioned fucking that retrobate. But, plain and simple, I'm going to point out to you in some situations actually call for violent reproach. Not all. In fact, there's a lot of situations you can navigate without having to utilize violence of any sort. And that's because there's enough of a turnout or enough of a showing of people willing to point out, hey, motherfucker, if you don't stop, we're going to get more angry. And that's where protests are hugely useful and quite helpful and capable. However, when they do nothing, that's why there's the saying, you have the ballot box, the soap box, and when all else fails, the cartridge box. This is why. Specifically, I vote against this. Now I'm going to speak out against this because my vote didn't do shit. Because politicians are corrupt, and any time that they get more fucking money put in their hands, they're going to do whatever the fuck the money says, not what morality says. So now the soapbox isn't working because even though I've told a bunch of people, they're in the same boat as I am. They don't know what the fuck to do because we all don't want to reach for the fucking cartridge box. We understand exactly what happens when we do. We recognize that by that instance, by that determination, that version of us that previously existed is dead. And it was murdered by that individual that forced our hand into violence. That's why I'm a big proponent of, what's his name? Alexander Stovinsky. I don't know. I don't know his last name. I reposted a meme that was made by PNW Gorilla that is the poem written by this Alexander feller, and it really does point out that, the reality of the world. Fear the man who only just wanted to be left alone. Because he recognizes that once he has to act, that former version of him has been murdered. It has been taken from him. And this is why he must act. Not because he chose to, but because he was forced to. You will never understand the violence inherent in an individual who is peaceful by nature, because you will never have a conceptualization for the amount of violence that it took for them to become peaceful. I point out these little sayings to bring this to you. I pray to God that I don't fucking meet up with that motherfucker, because I don't know what I'll do. I probably won't do shit. just because my fucking hands are tied, because I don't know for certain if that is that individual I'm looking at or not. I mean, I'm not sitting there with a screen in front of me going, is this fucking Gil Bates here, or is this some idiot that looks like him and prudence wins the day. It's one of those you never can really tell. So, how the fuck do I do this? How the fuck do I utilize violence if necessary? To stop such things. It's very simple. Why do you think they're taking away hunting and fishing in the state of Oregon? You're next, motherfuckers. Call me a liar. Please. Because all you're going to do is prove yourselves wrong. Get your asses out there and go and enjoy the woods. Watch what they are doing. Perhaps, I don't know, fucking report it to your fellow man. Organize. Perhaps, if it becomes that fucking necessary, respond. You never know. I mean, of course, they're doing it mostly by fucking dropping it by plane, dropping the Skeeters by plane, but you dig what I'm saying here. I kill mosquitoes on my property. I don't do that because I hate mosquitoes. I do that because that's the law around here. You kind of just can't have standing water. You can't do none of this, that, or the others. And mosquito repellent, it doesn't stop the ones from breeding. It just keeps the mosquitoes out of your general vicinity. So this is why I like the burning coils, because 25-foot radius around that. Even more so if there is some sort of cover. All right. So probably about more like 75-foot radius around this particular burning coil I got here. Skeeters won't enter the area. Repellent's really fucking good for that. And you just use repellent. It's better anyways for both you and the environment. Funny as it may seem. There is a tax for everything that you do. If you use repellent, you might cause some toxicity around you. You might get some twitches and some shakes and whatnot, because some repellents are toxic. On the flip side of that coin, if you go and you kill all the fucking Skeeters in an area, or you kill all the Skeeters in one particular landmass of the world, well, you get what's called a food chain cascade collapse. And that's where first it's the Skeeters, then it's the dragonflies, then it's the frogs and the fish, and all the ungulates that graze on the grass, and all the birds that feed on the bugs that feed on them, and all of the other critters that feed on them and feed on the birds that feed on the bugs that feed on them, and then all of the critters that eat the other bugs, and on and on and on. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. You remove part of that self-perpetuating cycle, it stops self-perpetuating and it becomes a chaotic cycle. Balance is necessary to keep something running smoothly. It's for the same reason that you step away from a wheel grinder when you turn it on, because you don't know if it's balanced or not. And if it's not balanced, it will come apart chaotically. It's for the same reason that when you turn on a drill press, for instance, you switch it on, it spins up to speed, and if there's any imbalance in the system, you'll hear it. It'll sound like, okay? It will literally shake your whole workstation because there's an imbalance. This is my point. You cannot imbalance nature without nature trying to correct that balance. And sometimes that correction can be catastrophic. Anyways, this has been a thing of Yo Gartsman on Morning Ramblins, and motherfuckers, I'm out.